Well, hello. It's time for another exciting episode of Pens in Use. This is the show where I talk about the fountain pens and inks I've been using throughout the week. So let's dive into it. If videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old, and at all price points, I'd invite you to subscribe. Hey, I am struggling to come up with topics, but just been a busy summer, and it's more than half over. So, on that depressing note, let's take a look at some pens. Alright, so these are the pens I've been using this week, from left to right. We have a Cleo Skribent Classic, Garant Alkor, an A.G. Spalding and Brothers pen. Haven't seen that one in a while. Platinum 3776, Waterman Carène, Omas Ogiva, Pilot Vanishing Point, and finally a Pilot Custom Heritage 92. As I've done for the last 2 weeks, we'll be doing the writing sample in this jellyfish-flavored Cognitive Surplus Theory Journal. Alright, so the first pen is the Cleo Skribent Classic, which I reviewed this week. I did a first impression. Cleo Skribent Classic, as few people noted, is kind of dry. It's a very classy looking pen, kind of a retro look to it. I like its look. And as a daily writer type of pen, I think it's perfectly good. Is it fun spraying ink everywhere? No. It's just for regular writing. I am a little curious what a gold nib would be like. I don't know if I'm curious enough to actually buy one, but I am curious. This is a medium nib, and the ink in it is Noodler's, which I figured this would be a wetter ink, but maybe I'm wrong. Green Cactus Eel. I remembered in my first impression, I remarked that the piston was a little tight, and this is a lubricating ink. I put too many E's in eel, but I'm not going to go back and fix it. Yeah, it's dry. This is a pen for writing in a notebook, especially if it's kind of a bleedy notebook. Like the notebook that I replaced this with. And you know, there is a place for that in the fountain pen world. I think I've got everything too bright. Dial the exposure down a little bit. I'm experimenting, you know. Never have everything perfect. My next pen was a very pleasant surprise. What was it, a week ago? 2 weeks ago? This is a Garant Alkor from East Germany. Back when there was an East Germany. This is also a daily writer type of pen, but it packs a lot more fun into it. There's an L in Alkor. The ink in this is Callifolio Violet. I was just curious how many purples I had in this family to use up, and oh boy. So I'm just curious, when you have more ink than God, what do you do with the inks you're not so much a fan of? There is a part of me tempted to put them downstairs, but then I know they'll never get used up. You know, this way I'll use them up and I just won't buy any more. This is one, I mean, I like the Callifolio brand, I just don't like this particular color. This is my, hasn't been out for a while, I don't know why, but A.G. Spalding and Brothers pen. I looked, they still have the ballpoint version of this. They no longer have the fountain pen. Ooh. For whatever that's worth. I am horrible at drawing ampersands, but let's just see what I can do here. So this has a medium nib on it, and the ink in it is Lamy bronze. You know, it's a unique pen. I don't have another pen like it. I think that's why I keep it. Plus, it writes really well. I like putting some fun inks into it. So I really don't know why I haven't had it out. Except probably that I am spoiled for choice. So I've been good lately. I haven't really bought any new pens. And it's been years since I've bought a new ink, other than some replacement Parker Quink washable blue. So this is encouraging me to do some revisits, you know, my Survivor pens, and it's going to encourage me to do some repairs. I've got 2 out right now that I want to repair. My feeling like I need to film the repairs slows me down a little bit, but, you know, we'll see. The nice thing with how I'm set up is I do have a semi-permanent set. I mean, it's my desk, but I can use the lights as desk lamps, and I can use, you know, the desk as a desk. So this is Platinum 3776. I'm going to be filming a revisit of this one. You know, a Survivor pen. Has a beautiful koi finish. Celluloid wrapped around a mandrel. See, I still remember. Very intense red ink. This is not the classic. It doesn't have the slip and seal cap. Noodler's Fox, which is supposed to be bulletproof, which is what Nathan Tardif calls it. I had a letter arrive recently from a new pen pal, and their return address got very wet. So I have to have that awkward attempt to find them and contact them and say, hey, I can't read your address. Alright, so this next pen, Waterman Carène. This one I bought fairly low cost because it had a damaged nib. Now, nibs are easy to replace with this pen because you just screw out the old nib unit, screw in a new one, but I'm guessing the seller either didn't know that or didn't want to bother. And he just says, is there anybody sucker enough to buy this? Yeah, there's one in North Dakota. So this is a medium nib that I happen to have. The ink in it smells good, even though it smells nothing like apple blossoms. De Atramentis apple blossom. So one thing I'm looking forward to with my violet inks is I do have a bottle of De Atramentis Violet, which is scented like violets. I don't know, the scent, it's faint. You hold it up to your nose, you can smell it. Maybe after you finish a whole page with that ink, you can smell it. I mean, here, you know, try this. You know, you're smelling it? But, you know, it's a fun little gimmick, and the chemistry of smells is kind of fun. Here's a pen destined for a revisit. This is the Omas Ogiva. Actually, the original video of this isn't even with my pen, it's with somebody else's pen. So the revisit will happen with mine. It's the Omas Ogiva Cocktail. I have a medium extra flessibile nib in it. At the time, I really wanted a fine extra flessibile nib, but you know, the company was going out of business, and at that point, retailers hadn't realized that, hey, everybody wants these, let's jack up the price, instead of, it was a, ooh, let's knock down the price so we can get rid of our remaining stock. So I got really lucky. I also wanted a different color, I'll just be honest, but you know what? This pen has really grown on me. I'd still like to try the fine extra flessibile, but I'm enjoying this pen. Okay, so here's a pen I had out. It's actually been on my to sell list, and then I rethink it. You know, I've sold most of my retractable fountain pens. I like the Curidas, believe it or not. I don't like this one, but I got talked into buying a new nib for it. And I'll tell you what, it's made a world of difference for writing with it. I may still sell it with both nibs, but putting this different nib in it does help the writing experience a ton. So I'm going to film a revisit of it. I also have a Majan A1 that I filmed a first impression of. I haven't released it yet, but I'm thinking I should film a rodeo where I compare it to this pen more directly. So we'll just have to see. But anyway, this is a Pilot Custom 823. No, it is not. Wow. Pilot Vanishing Point. This has I believe it's a 1.1 millimeter nib. And the ink in it is... What is the ink in it? I forgot. Rohrer and Klingner. Helianthus. Yellow inks are a bugger because so many of them are pretty. They're too pale to read. This is one that actually gets it right. I don't have many yellow inks that are in the category of yellow, but you can still read them. But I think this or else Stipula Saffron is probably my favorite. And the Saffron is more orangish than this one. And I have Ferris Wheel Press Buttered Popcorn, because somebody told me, you've got to try Ferris Wheel inks, and that's back when I finally decided, you know what? That was a stupid purchase. Won't do that again. And quit buying inks. So this is a Pilot Custom Heritage 92. It has a wonderful ink in it. This one's due for a revisit. Somewhere recently I was seeing that, 92. Somewhere recently I was seeing that they have several colors for this pen now, which was not the case when I bought it. That's okay. The clear is just fine. You know, the nice thing with a demonstrator is you always know exactly how much ink you have left. This one is very nice ink. And I've been trying to use up other greens, but I know I filmed a video a few weeks ago, actually, where I was comparing the paper in different possible pens in use notebooks. And I wanted a De Atramentis ink in there because they tend to soak into the paper more than some other brands. And it did not disappoint. Still a pretty color, though. So those are the pens and inks I've been using this week. On the day I'm filming this, I just finished a class, so I decided to use my morning and film the writing portion of 11 different videos. So I have about 20-some writing portions saved up. Now we'll have to spend some time like this and do the face-to-face portions of those videos. But I like breaking it up. It just makes it easier for me. In other exciting news, I put a link to a Q&A down below in the video description right after the pens. So I think around the holidays, sometime late December, early January, before I go back to school, I want to assemble a Q&A video. And I'm going to try to do what I always say I'm going to do. Kind of film answers to questions as I wander around. And try and film some of them in neat places. So Anyway, if you have a question you want to ask me, feel free to put that in the Q&A. I put a spot for how do you want to be referred to also. So in other words, if you don't want to be referred to by your real name, don't put your real name there. If you don't want to be referred to by anything, just put anonymous. And I'll do my best to answer the questions. If I feel the question is inappropriate, I probably won't. I will put it... I may also group some questions together. You know, if there's 3 questions, what's your favorite kind of pen? I will probably say, and Wally and Wizzy-Wammy and Martha all asked me what my favorite pen is. You know, I'll probably do that. But anyway, something to look forward to. My plan is to film it in different places, actually answering the questions, and maybe have a linking video that I film here in the house. I was looking at the amount of dust on my bookshelves, so that might be a good week or two to also take all the books off the shelves. I know that'll be months from now, but good time to take some books off the shelves and dust. So anyway, in other exciting news, I did a live stream last weekend, so if you missed that, it was a live stream on Pen Pals, and I explored the use of a concept map while I did it, which gave me something to do with my hands. But also kind of gave me a record of the discussion, besides the fact that now I know how to put the questions on my screen. Thinking about doing it for some other videos, like book reviews. Because the thing with book reviews is they get awkward as I'm staring at you talking about a book and then referring to my notes a lot. So that might be a good way to do book reviews. You know, open and close it with my face and then dive down to the camera. So we'll see. That was interesting. So anyway, I'm curious to hear what you think of the use of that concept map. Was that a good idea or was it a fail? On the topic of live streams, I'm looking... You know, I want to be able to appeal to all my viewers. So I've experimented with different times of day. I thought I was going to do mine after Gary Eves did his, but it turned out I started mine about a half an hour into his, so I apologize for that. You know, I want to find a good time to do live streams. I don't know if I want to make it it's definitely not going to be a weekly thing. My life is too erratic to do it on a guaranteed night a week. The only way I can do stuff on a guaranteed night of the week is to pre-record it, and that defeats the purpose of a live stream. But welcome ideas about when to do live streams and such. I liked 8 a.m. myself. That was great for me. I don't know how about it was for the rest of you. I suppose on a Sunday afternoon would be good. I don't think... There used to be a fountain pen guy who'd do his live streams on Friday afternoon, but he doesn't seem to anymore, so maybe I'll do it then. Don't know. We'll just have to play it by ear and find out. And of course, there will be the impromptu ones. I hope it doesn't happen, but if I get as many snow days as I did this past winter, you may see some more live streams than normal this winter. I'm looking at... I wasn't going to do it because I kind of thought his candidacy would end by now. But I'm looking at doing a driving video where I just talk about Doug Burgum, who's actually a candidate for president. He's governor of North Dakota. Not a rah, 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 go vote for him type of video, just an informative, fairly neutral one, because I'm not probably going to vote for the guy, but I don't really have anything against him. So I'm looking at doing something like that. I did finish my one class that I've been taking, because I've been doing I have 2 computer science classes I'm taking this summer. I finished one of them. I think I can get through the next one a lot faster, because now I understand Blackboard and, you know, how these online classes work. So I'm going to be so happy when I get this other one done. But anyway, today I taken the day off from classes. That's why I filmed 11 videos this morning, just to celebrate having a day off from class. So anyway, I'm looking forward to that. I wrote Heat Update. We're about to head into some hot days here in North Dakota, where it's going to get into the 80s and 90s. Nothing compared to what those of you in the Southwest are dealing with, or in the South in general. Holy cow. I was reading about houses in Arizona being described as air fryers. Just an unbelievable amount of heat down there. And, I've suffered through a day or two of that. Even without air conditioning. I just can't imagine where you're going months of those kind of temperatures. Yowzers. And it's going into Europe, too. I was reading about, tours being cut down at, like, the Parthenon, I'm going to say apocalypse. Oh my gosh. That other building that's in Greece that I can't say. I just can't even imagine. In Europe, I know there's a lot less air conditioning than there is here in the U.S. I haven't really needed mine this summer. I use a fan, and I've been comfortable. And, if I'm careful about closing up windows when it gets hot, and I close shades at the right time of day, hey, it works. But, so for those of you in Europe, and in the South, I hope cooler weather comes. As far as reading, one thing I haven't done lately is record a lot of book reviews. I've been reading a lot. One of the great things about summer that I love is I get up in the morning and I stay in bed and read. I used to read in the evenings, as I'm going to bed, but I'd fall asleep and sometimes fall asleep with a book in bed with me. It's a lot nicer. You just wake up and you sit up and read for an hour, and I don't know, I like that. I am going to miss that when school starts. I always do every year. Maybe I need to get up super early in the morning just to read in the morning. But I've been reading Alastair Reynolds lately. I've also been reading a lot of Tony Hillerman. Those have been the two big things. I want to read one more Alastair Reynolds novel. And then branch out. I've got some other stuff around. I want to get at least one Dan Simmons done this summer. I got some nonfiction books I want to read. So I need to get going on those book reviews again. And that's why I was thinking about the concept map for book reviews. Because I have one for Chinua Achebe written out. Almost written out. I guess I got a little more to go. And I have a complete one for Alastair Reynolds written out. And I was thinking, concept map. So we'll see. The Chinua Achebe one is... not sure how that one's going to go as a concept map, but I think I can do one for the Alastair Reynolds. I'm looking over the shelf because I also feel like I should start rereading The Wheel of Time. Just one novel every so often, just to start working my way through my whole 14 video series on those books. I don't know what else is exciting here. Anyway, I always have too many books and not enough time. And the nice thing about summer is I do a lot more reading then. And, even with the class and all the reading I'm doing for the class, I make sure I do that time in the morning. And every so often I take some time. Getting a little behind on the garden, but so be it. I wrote filming up... Oh, I probably mentioned it way too early. Filming update. Yeah, so I filmed a whole bunch of rodeos and revisits to pen, and a few of just reviews, first impressions of pens. I'm hoping that'll give me some time now. I can film a couple repair videos where I need to leave stuff set up maybe for a few days. And just generally to have videos built up. Because it's really nice, especially when I get busy, to have those videos there and you're just like, oh, I will just slap this together because I already filmed it. So the editing takes time, but not as much time as filming and editing. And then the last thing I wrote was moving versus deep cleaning. So I'm not moving. But the last time I moved, I was just amazed by how much stuff I got rid of. And it got me to thinking about some of the stuff here. Like, I've been trying to use up inks, and I just thought, let's say I was moving. Whether to Vermont, where they're flooding right now, so fun weather there too, or whether I just decided to move to a different town in North Dakota, or even like my last move where I just moved 2 blocks. it's amazing how when you're moving, you discover that I don't really want to move that. And suddenly things that you've been hanging on to because it seems silly to throw them out, you're just like, see ya! I'm wondering if I should start approaching housekeeping in my ink collection that way. I don't know, I feel bad throwing it away, but because I am using it up, just not very fast. But on the other hand, it has been years since I bought any ink, so maybe keep doing what I'm doing, use up some ink. Anyway, that's what's coming. I want to do a couple more deep dive type driving videos into various topics. You know, the trouble is when I start researching for stuff like that, then I'm like, oh, I should be working on my class, and then I don't. So, I don't know. I knew an old lady once who, after she got in the nursing home, what she told me was what she hated about it the most was she felt useless. And I guess I'd rather be busy than feel useless. So, yeah, this isn't doing anybody any good, but, you know, that's a little bit of light entertainment if you're into watching videos on YouTube. And I was watching a discussion recently about creating rather than consuming, because we do both. You know, I watch videos as well as create them. But there is something to be said for that act of creation. And, you know, it's kind of rewarding just to get those comments down below. That's part of what keeps me going. I would probably continue to collect fountain pens, even if nobody watched my videos, but I don't know if I'd keep making them. So I appreciate the comments. I don't get into Patreon and all that stuff, but I do enjoy the comments. So keep them coming, please. I really appreciate them, and they're the reason I put in time on these videos and do them. So anyway, I want to thank you for that. Didn't mean to go there, but back on the moving versus deep cleaning thing, I'm just looking at some mess that's here, and you're just thinking, oh, I'll get to that. Will ya? And when you move, you're just like, nope, won't get to it. See ya, don't want to move ya. So, I don't know, maybe I need to somehow force myself to see cleaning as moving. I'm not a bad housekeeper, I just could be better. And would definitely love to shrink the ink collection. So, anyway, videos like that interest you, where I talk about fountain pens, both new and old, and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And hey, what are your feelings on cleaning? Do you clean like you're going to move? Do you live a fairly minimalist? And no, I'm not a minimalist. Do you live a fairly minimalist life, or is it everywhere? Let us know down in the comments, especially if you have some good tips. So, I want to thank you for watching. And I'm planning a trip next week, so next week, expect me to visit somewhere fun. So I want to thank you for watching. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.